I have a project going where I'm trying to redo part of a sewing machine, and basically these old sewing machines get worn out where they fold them in, fold them out, fold them in, fold them out, and those points where the sewing machine is attached, you know, after 100 years the wood starts to go and whatever. So I have a couple of machines where the wood where it attaches are starting to break, and I'm like, okay, how am I gonna make this without having a whole redo? How do I make that work? So here's what I came up with. Take some toothpicks, and basically you just want to get them slathered up in this wood glue here, right? So you want to get them as deep in there as you can, right? So like this. So it's all gooey. Then you take it, and if you got the right amount, you basically just shove it into the hole there. Now you can wipe this extra off if you want, and just leave it like that, and then it'll dry and it will set up hard. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right here is the sewing machine stand, and you can see I put the toothpicks are all jammed in there, and they hold. So far they feel like they're pretty tight. I had to go below here, so that's why I got the tape, because this one wasn't just a hole, it was actually worn out. So we got that, and then same thing on this side. This was just a hole. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let this dry a little longer. It's pretty stout right now, but I'm gonna let it dry a little longer, and then I'm gonna cut these off, and I'm gonna fill them up with more wood glue, and then at that point I'm gonna reattach. This is the hardware that attaches to it. So I'm going to put that in there and then re-screw that through these. You can also use like super glue and baking soda, and that will harden up too, but I like the wood glue for this. If you're gonna, say, fill a hole like in a door hinge, you can put the toothpicks in, and then I would use super glue and baking soda. But that's where we're at. When I do this, I'll come back and I'll show you that part of it. The wood glue has dried, and so what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna break these off and get the big parts out of here. And then once I have all that out, you know, kind of like what you would do with any shim or whatever, just breaking them out of there. So after grinding it down, it's pretty clear that that's pretty solid right there. Those are pretty tightly in there. So now I just have to take these pieces and reattach them. Got two, this one's a little tight. Let's see if this one, I mean, it's weird. They're the exact same thing, but sometimes one will fit in better than the other. So let me go ahead and reattach these. The test will be whether or not it holds the weight of the sewing machine. So we're gonna go ahead and try that. Okay, so I've got the hardware mounted. The only thing that I notice off the bat is that the wood glue doesn't, I mean, you can't, if you're hitting the glue, it spins, like it won't lock down in there. Now the super glue and baking soda, that locks down hard. So if I have an issue here, I'll fill the hole with that, and we'll see if that works any better. But I'm gonna put the machine on, and once I get the machine on, I'm gonna see whether or not it holds, because my test is whether or not it pulls out with the weight of the machine leaning back on it. So we're gonna try that now and see how that works. So the machine is on here. I'm gonna lean it back, and we'll see how well it holds. This machine's pretty heavy, and that's a lot of sort of weight on the back. And it looks like it's holding pretty good. I mean, it's not holding perfectly. I can see it lifting up a little bit. See, and I think that if you really put a lot of weight on this, you can see it's coming up. So that glue isn't holding it perfect, but it's holding it in place. So I just wouldn't let this machine rock back for too long. If that happens, then I'm gonna have to do a more permanent solution here. But you can see it's lifting up a little bit, but it works. I think the baking soda, I have another machine, so I think on the next one, the baking soda with the super glue is going to be the one I try on that one. The side here that I just was basically putting wood into a hole, the wood glue I think worked really fine. This side where I'm filling this whole thing and I need to have some support, I'm going to go with a different solution here. You can see all this stuff just sort of pushed out because the glue, it's not really good for structural stuff. But I'm going to try JB Weld. I'm going to see how JB Weld will do in all of this, whether that would do it. Why not? Why not experiment? I got time. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, so this has turned into an experiment, like as to what's the best way to fix these holes where, you know, screw holes get worn out. And wood glue just isn't strong enough. It's too much like hot glue almost once you start getting weight on it. So I'm gonna break this off and I'm gonna have to file some of this out, and I'm gonna try this with the JB Weld and see if that is sturdy enough to hold the sewing machine in place. So now this has been cleaned out. This is where you can see right here, this is the toothpicks. They're all pretty tight in there. And this is ready to take this little hinge. It'd be interesting to see how well, once this is screwed in there, it holds up. Seems like I got a little bit of play here still. Try to figure, probably right there in the center. Let me go ahead and attach this and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this is all fastened in there, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna lean it back and we're gonna see how it holds up. Well, there's definitely a little bit of movement in there, but it's not nearly as lifted as the other side. Now this is the wood glue side. There's definitely room there. They both have some wiggle room in there. But I would definitely say that the JB Weld is a better anchor for this than the wood glue. The only thing I haven't tried on this, and we'll see, because you're starting to, every time this comes back, you can see there's more movement in it. So nothing's as good as the wood, original wood or metal. So I might end up at some point, if this doesn't stay, I might end up at some point putting a piece of metal there, but that's gonna work good. So that's what I would say, JB Weld instead of the wood glue, depending on this. This is pretty heavy, but if you were doing, say, holes in a door hinge or something like that, wood glue and toothpicks would work fine. But anything with weight, I would say to go with the JB Weld or something even more stout than that. Anyway, thanks for watching.